If you have been feeling that leadership feels heavier than it used to, you're not imagining it. Today marks episode 1 of a 5-part series on self-leadership. Over the next few weeks, we are going to explore what it truly means to lead yourself before leading others, and why this skill is becoming the most important leadership capability in 2026 and beyond. Across industries, I am seeing capable, experienced professionals navigating more complexity than ever before. Artificial intelligence is reshaping how we work. Hybrid teams are redefining how we connect. Expectations around performance, visibility, and adaptability continue to rise. And yet, despite all the advancement, many leaders are quietly stretched. Not because they lack skill, not because they lack ambition, but because they are leading externally without enough internal clarity. Leadership today looks impressive from the outside. Strategy meetings are sharper, technology is faster, communication is instant. Teams are distributed across locations and time zones. But the context has changed. Decisions need to be made faster, teams are more complex, expectations are higher and less forgiving. Leaders are being asked to manage uncertainty, inspire confidence, deliver commercial outcomes, and adapt continuously. What we are not always strengthening is the inner foundation that makes all of this sustainable. Because without internal clarity, external performance eventually becomes fragile. And that is where self-leadership comes in. Self-leadership is not about being motivational. It's not about being positive all the time. It is the discipline of leading yourself before leading others. It means knowing your values clearly enough that they guide your decisions when pressure rises. It means recognizing your emotional responses so they do not unconsciously dictate your tone or communication. It means noticing when urgency is shaping your leadership style. And it means taking responsibility not only for targets and results, but for your presence. Because whether you realize it or not, your team feels your internal state. If you're reactive, they feel it. If you're grounded, they feel that too. Clarity creates stability. In today's workplace, personal clarity is not soft. It is strategic. When a leader is internally clear, decision-making becomes less reactive. Communication becomes cleaner. Expectations are expressed with confidence instead of frustration. In hybrid environments especially, clarity replaces control. You cannot manage by proximity anymore. You manage by direction and trust. And trust is built through consistency. When leaders are consistent in behavior and values, teams feel safe. When teams feel safe, performance improves. Let us look at the other side. Even highly capable leaders can fall into reactive patterns without realizing it. Decision fatigue increases. Micromanagement creeps in. Stress becomes constant. Imposter syndrome quietly sits behind authority. I have worked with senior professionals who look incredibly successful on paper. Strong credentials, impressive roles, solid track records. Yet privately, they question their direction, their energy, and sometimes their impact. This is rarely about competence. It is about not having paused long enough to examine how they are leading themselves. Clarity does not emerge from speed, it emerges from reflection. As AI becomes more embedded in organizations, human leadership becomes more important, not less. Technology can automate tasks, it can analyze data, it can optimize systems. What it cannot replace is human judgment, emotional regulation, ethical discernment, and trust. The more automated our systems become, the more intentional our leadership must be. Self-leadership strengthens that human core. It allows you to remain steady when uncertainty rises and thoughtful when pressure intensifies. And in a world that is accelerating, steadiness becomes a competitive advantage. In my own corporate journey, there was a phase where growth looked impressive from the outside. More responsibility, more visibility, more targets. But internally, something felt misaligned. Business was increasing, but clarity was decreasing. The shift did not come from a new strategy. It came from examining how I was leading myself. I had to ask whether my decisions aligned with my values, whether my pace was sustainable, and whether I was leading from intention or urgency. That internal shift transformed my external leadership. In the next episode, we will go deeper into practical self-leadership. We will explore how to build disciplined awareness into your weekly routine without adding more noise to your calendar. And after that, we will look at emotional regulation under pressure, leading hybrid teams with clarity, and building sustainable leadership rhythms. This is not about theory. It is about structured inner leadership that strengthens performance. Many professionals ask how they can become stronger leaders in a rapidly changing world. Perhaps the more powerful question is this: how clearly am I leading myself? Because the future of leadership will not belong to the busiest calendar or the loudest voice in the room. It will belong to leaders who are internally steady, values-driven, and consciously aware of the impact they create. If this conversation resonates with you, I invite you to stay with this series. Subscribe so you do not miss the next episode, and share this with someone who is navigating leadership right now. Because powerful leadership in 2026 will not be defined by speed alone. It will be defined by steadiness. And this is just the beginning.